Hey all, and this is the Starfallen Sodailty event. This is a Chaotic Killer event and Water Slayer. So I've only made up 3 teams this time around, but they are all pretty good teams. You will probably want to make your team based around one of these 3. We either have a Water Slayer team you can see here. This is for bosses that are not locked or not my own. This is for locked bosses, more powerful than the first team. Then something that's a commander deck, basically. You can mix and match this if you're struggling for Slayer cards. Anyway, let's go across to the first team. This is designed to hit on the very first turn. Holiday Saints is the first card. This has that lovely 500% damage buff. That's to any water card as well, including commander cards. Then Metaverse Masters. This gives a 150% damage buff. That's to any card. Both of those are used to boost up Sovereigns of the Dance. This converts Dark Gems to water, then increases self-damage as well. Valhalla's Vanguard. This is maybe not the best card to use, but out of my Water Slayer cards, this is kind of one of the only decent options I have. It does basically fill the whole board with water power gems when you first use it, but no damage buff unfortunately. Then finally, Frontier Titans. This does have a damage buff, 130%. Pretty decent actually, doesn't create too many power gems, but the damage buff is always good. Then for the relics, it's important to make sure the relics match the cards you have. For example, in this instance, there are no Noble Killer cards, so I don't want any relics that spawn water gems based on Noble cards. So this Chaotic Relic just breaks the 1 shield. I needed that as the other one breaks 6, so that takes it up to the 7 in total. Then, as I mentioned, these relics are designed to match with the cards that I have. For example, Beast, Immortal, Sovereigns of the Dance is Immortal. There's the other Chaotic Relic to break the 6 shields. Then another Immortal Relic there to match with the cards. And that's reasonably effective, always gets enough water gems at the start, so you can just go left to right and hit the boss. Sometimes gets 20% on the umbrals, but can get 10% if you don't have that good of a board. You can always make something similar to this if you do have the event deck. Swap the middle card for the event ultimate form. Probably best to swap Valhalla's Vanguard as well for some sort of damage boosting card. So let's move on to the next team. It's basically a variant of the first team, but with Iria this time around. I don't need to talk too much about this since it's basically the same team, but I will just bring up Iria quickly. So the idea is to use Iria just as the enemy is attacking. This gets supercharged up, increases Immortal Killer attack by 2,500%. Then that boosts up Sovereigns of the Dance even further than with the previous team. And in testing, I actually did over 800Q with this team, so it is extremely effective. The way to use this team is after you have used Iria, just go left to right, Holiday Saints, Metaverse Masters, Sovereigns of the Dance, then Frontier Titans, then hope a few power gems are loose from the main match, then just match the highest 2 power gems on the board. A very effective team, but not really suitable for other people's bosses, with the exception of maybe Eternal bosses. The relics don't matter too much. Because there's 2 dark cards on the team, I put this relic on the team to make sure all of the shields are broken. With the previous relic setup, I only would have broken 6 of the shields. Then an Immortal Relic here, an Arcane Relic here. Cater's Bow, that increases the damage a little bit more because it has that percentage increase to attack. Then finally, the relic that helps break the rest of the shields. So this is a very effective team, as I've already mentioned. If you don't have the event ultimate form, you can definitely do some serious damage with this. Then the Water Commander team, it's not overly effective if I'm being honest. It could be useful for the multi-bosses though. You can also do something like this if you are going to use a Commander team, since Holiday Saints boosts up any water card. Anyway, I don't really need to talk too much more about this. It doesn't hit for decent damage, so only really suitable for the Radiant multi-bosses at most, or up to Radiant solo bosses if you don't have a decent Slayer team. Anyway, that's the teams I'm using. Let's get on with the actual event. Here we go. So here we go, the actual event. I have a couple of my own bosses on the screen. There's also a couple of other Infernos as well. I'm going to hit the locked Umbral. So do be careful this time around. The bosses have mute on them, and that's arguably the worst defender skill or enemy skill in the game. So do be aware of that. After the first sort of attack, you may have problems unless you have some way of countering mute. This team is more suitable for other people's bosses though. Any locked bosses, the other team with area will be better. But this is just to show you what sort of damage this can do. Hopefully, since the fourth card crushes the whole board together, there will be quite a few power gems that are loose from the main match. That's not too bad. There's one at the top that's loose. So this might do between 60 and 80 Q. Let's see. Yeah, I was a pretty good accurate guess actually. 68.9 Q. Let's quit out and try another team. Right, I'm going to go with the Commander team next. Then finish it off with the area-based team. I don't think this will do that much damage, but I want to try it out just to sort of see how much damage it can do. I will just use Trojan Lovers first, as that will fill up the board with power gems with a bit of luck. Oh, that was quite weird. A lot of power gems sort of came out of nowhere. And then let's see what sort of damage this will do. This will be probably used on the multi-bosses, I would have thought. And then, let's see, one loose power gem from the main match at the bottom of the board. Middle card is the main damage, only 3.7 Q. So a commander deck is probably not the best option here, if I'm being honest. And we have been muted now. This is the big hitting team, plus it will also remove mute, because it has area on the team. Only really suitable on locked bosses though. Let's give this a go. So hopefully I will do over 100 Q with this team. I just need the right board. I think on the very first turn, do something like this and then very carefully sort of match or do something like that. Then use area. I don't want to be hit by mute when I don't have area ready, otherwise I'm going to have major problems here. Let's try this anyway, see what happens. This should do good damage, with a bit of luck anyway. Right, here we go. Mute has been removed. Can I defeat the boss in one attack? Well, that's a good question. About to find out, depends on how the board goes. That's pretty good actually. 2 loose power gems from the main match should do good damage. Wow. 841 Q. That's quite a bit different from my other team. I wasn't expecting it to hit that high. Just going to hit this one as it's on the screen with my Water Slay team. It's just to see what sort of percentage I can get on other people's bosses. Let's have a go anyway. You can see the difference in damage though with Area. That's got to be one of my biggest hits I have ever managed, which was quite surprising if I'm being honest. I wasn't expecting it to do anywhere near that sort of damage. Water Slayer is definitely my best Slayer event. This should be a reasonable hit actually. That was quite a good board, 77.6Q. So that's enough to get 20% on the Umbrals, and that's what I wanted to find out. So with a bad board, I would have thought I'd only get 10%, but yeah, this should be a pretty good event for me, hopefully, as my teams are hitting for pretty decent damage. So there we go, that's my teams in action. It is only a pretty ordinary event, unfortunately, so not too much more to talk about here. I will go and claim my solo event collection though. So this time around it's for GVG Defense, Bastion Shards, Wardens, the Season Choice Coins as well of course. Right, let's claim this. Let's see what Wardens I get. This is always fun. I say fun as a very loose term. Right, that first Warden was quite weak. That is a Warden. Ooh. Grotsludge Guardian. I think that's actually a decent Warden. And the 6-star one, that's a really old one. Nothing exciting there. Get those useless support coins right. Let's back out of here. Now to have a look at what it is this time around. I don't really play that much nowadays, but it's still interesting to see what it is. It looks like a Warden. So a very ordinary event then. Increase... Oh! That's a good battle skill. Increases fire hero damage by 50%. So that could potentially be useful on your team for both Slayer and Commander events if you don't have too many damage boosting cards. Plus a decent defender skill as well, counter attack. Useless counter skill though, Siphon doesn't really do anything. But that's quite an interesting Warden just because of that battle skill more than anything. So that's definitely got my attention. Let's go and claim the random 6-star hero from here. Right, here we go. Go and collect that water essence as well while I'm here. So what is the 6-star bonus hero going to be? Well, we're about to find out. Probably something really junky. Yeah, that's a very old card. Not going to talk too much about that, but I will, while I'm here, have a look at the event Ultimate Form. Envoy of the Starfall is the event Ultimate Form. Increases self-damage by 400%. Creates power gems and upgrades all water power gems. Yeah, nothing else on the card though. It's a hitting card. If you have Sovereigns of the Dance, you probably won't need this card, if I'm being completely honest. Plus, it's the first deck in the season, so it's always going to be quite difficult to get. Because it's a hitting card though, there's not much point in just getting one of the cards. Demise's Eyes, or Demise's Eyes, or whatever you want to call it, this increases self-damage, but since it's not an ultimate form, it doesn't really help too much. Then for the other card, Tally of the Blessed Moon. This creates the power gems, plus has that upgrade skill as well. Plus creates a few more power gems from the Radiant Strike skill. But that's about it, apart from the passive for damage reduction. No damage boost on the card, so it's not really going to help you much either. So this is probably going to be a deck to skip, if I'm being honest, if you have Sovereigns of the Dance. If you don't though, it could be pretty useful, just for the self-damage increase. It's entirely up to you though if you think you will need this deck or not. I'll have a quick look at the newsfeed before ending this video. Let's see what's in the newsfeed of interest. 5 pink star improved dragoons are here. That's probably the main thing of interest in the news feed. 5 pink star improved dragoons. Nice. Lots of improved stats. I think they made a slight change to the spire as well to put the dragoon diamonds in there so you can upgrade your improved dragoons. So here it says about the deck being buffed. It also says a bit more about the dragoons as well and the slight change to the Heavenly Spire. I think that's actually a good change, even though I rarely get to stage 21 or higher, if I am being honest. Spire is still very difficult, especially if you are a free player like myself. It's very hard to get all the cards you need. And there we go, I'm going to end the video at this point. I hope that was interesting and helpful. As always, if you do have any questions or suggestions regarding this video, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to help. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is always very much appreciated. We have a previous video on the screen, plus a playlist, plus you can also subscribe from here if you want to do so. And thanks for watching.